I'll take anything on. I'll take anything on. This is a child's guitar for Gabriella. Strings are rotten on it. Extremely high action on it. But it has a built-in amplifier. And it has a jack plug with an jack plug with an earphone attachment to it, and a little bit of damage here and there. So what I have to do is fix up the damage, get it all fixed up in strings, lower the action as much as I can for the child so she doesn't rip her fingers off it, sand the head completely off, and I'm going to put her name right across it, Gabriella. And I might try to fix that. Only just spotted it. The rest of the guitar looks fairly good. Not too much damage on it. But it's for a grandchild. I think she may be 10 or so. Not my grandchild, but we'll see how it goes. But I like that idea of a... I suppose I should test it through the amplifier too, shouldn't I? Let's put it on. Yeah, this doesn't work at all. The switch. So it works through there, right? So let's start by getting the strings off. Because it's a child's guitar, I'll do them gently. And get the head flattened down. I think I have to take all the bling off. Bling has to come off so that I can sand it all. Put on the transfer for Gabriella. Then give it a coat of clear gloss or clear matte, whatever's most suitable. Clever, these little things, I think, you know. Could you imagine? There's a well-known luthier. Get out, don't bring it back again. But I don't know why he said that or not. Those are nice little, I like the little colours of the pickups there. You see them? They're sort of pearlescent. Right, okay, so I'm not going to touch the back. The back looks fine. I'm just going to touch the front. I'll have to bring that down, so we're going to sand that down now. Just with sandpaper. And I have to ask them what size, because if it's a young child, I'll put her name in big letters right across it. If it's an older child, maybe 12 or 13, I might be more subtle. But I think that we'll find out first of all before I do it. Okay, back to you when I discover what's going on. All right, bye-bye. Right, tomorrow's Christmas Day. I'm choking a bit because I've got a sore throat and I've got a hot head and a bit of a headache. But Christmas comes but once a year, so I have to get this sorted out. Now, one of these height adjusters was missing, so I didn't have quite the correct one, but I have one that'll do. It has one spare. So I found a little silver knob which looks good. Now, the only thing I'm going to do now is try to fix that little bit of rust, and I'm just wondering, maybe the best way for me to fix this rust in a quick hurry and to stop it from doing it again is put a little bit of crust on it, because I know crust will turn it black, and that will hide it. Let me just see if I've got a brush. Yeah, I've got a little brush. So if I put a little bit of this crust on it. Is this crust? It is crust, yes, that's right. Don't want too much to go through to the speaker though. That will turn black. Black. It did it on all the other ones, so why shouldn't it, Austin? Why are you being negative? Right, put that away. Wash the brush. Be back in a second. Autofocus. I really must buy myself a present. I just realized I've run out of guitar strings too. Life is hard. Let me put this in focus again. I think a GoPro would stay in focus constantly. I think that's how it works. A friend of mine has a GoPro, which I must remind him to lend me again, because I do want to borrow it. What is that? How can I be? Oh God, I shouldn't do that. Right, I'm going to speed this up. Oh, I'm going to put one string on, and I'm going to reduce that nut because the nut is very high. You know the way you're getting the cold, you got dry voice, and you can feel your body going, "Rrr." Well, that's me at the moment. But this little girl has to get her Chrissy present. And sitting watching TV, drinking lemsip, not my style. Actually, I will have a lemsip in a second. How do you get the strings through this now? Well, it's the miracle of Christmas. I actually managed to find the very last one of these metric ones. That's why they're funny. They're slightly wider, but also slightly a different thread. So I managed to find one in there, and it was a different size Allen key as well. So happy days. Right, let's get back to stringing this string to see where we are. Right, I've got my lamp slip, which is too hot for me, and I've been working on this because there's nothing more boring than seeing somebody file. And what I've done, which is what I don't normally do, is I've brought it down as low as I think is right. I could bring it down lower, but I have to remember there's an 8-year-old girl, she'll probably just bash it about a bit. And I've also I usually try to make the strings so that they're sitting, you know, so that if a string's sitting in the groove, it sort of sits 50% up and 50% in. But in this case, I'm going to let the strings bury themselves in there, because it will get a bit of bashing. And yeah, the action's a lot better. It won't hurt her fingers if she gets serious about playing. So somebody's talking.
Katrina said, OMG, I've just watched that. It had no sound earlier, and sent 2 rolling on the floor laughing emoji and a crying with laughter emoji.
Yeah, somebody just watched my Christmas video.
From Katrina, any wonder you scared the cat, and sent a crying with laughter emoji.
Yes, she's right. Any wonder? Alright, pause. I'm going to get these pegs put on, and I'll come back to you. No, I'm not going to put the pegs on. I've got a decal ready to go on it, and I've already sprayed it, and I'm hoping the decal will be sprayed, and then I can soak it in water, put the decal on, then I'm going to overspray it again. This is the decal that's going on the guitar. It'll be something like that. It's been sprayed with gloss lacquer, and it's not quite dry yet. But I made a mistake. That's the reason I'm saying this. I made a mistake in the last one. I cut around it before I sprayed it, and what happened is the spray got underneath the cuts and got near the letters and nearly ruined it. So this time I made sure I sprayed before I cut it. There's some little ripples on it which won't matter in the long run, but I got a feeling that's because I sprayed it in a very cold room. But okay, pause now. I'm going to go and play on my computer for half an hour. Sorry, I'm going to go and edit a video on my computer and let that dry and be back in about an hour. Right, I'm pushing the boat out on this one. There's I put a tiny drop of soap on my finger and a little tiny drop of water on there. It's still slightly tacky, but we're going to see what it does. And there's just, as I say, just a hint of soap, just a hint of soap in that water, just to give it a bit of a slide. And I'm going to put some of the water up there. It's cold water. If you put it in slightly lukewarm water, it would peel off quicker. The problem is if you put it in too hot water, it goes, it curls up like, you know, those little trick things you used to get fish, plastic fish you used to put in your hands, and it'd tell you whether you're passionate or not. Maybe you don't. It used to be a little transparent pink fish, and it used to be a joke that you'd put the pink fish on your, this is in teen days, if you put the pink fish on your hand, it would curl up in a ball. That meant you're hot and passionate. But if it lay flat, it meant you were cold and passionless. And people used to want to be hot and passionless. And when I was a teen, although hot and passionful when I was a teen, but now I just want to be passionate without getting too hot. Right, okay. So what happens with this, just by the way, is that we print this on a piece of paper, and we're printing it on a sheet of that's slightly plasticized paper. When you print it on ink on it, right, and you can see it's plastic. And then after you printed it, you spray it with gloss, clear, transparent spray, so it's waterproof beneath and it's waterproof on top. And then whenever you soak it in water, beneath that part of plastic is an adhesive that works with water. So when you soak it, it goes through the paper and onto the adhesive that works with water, and then you peel that off slowly, and it goes on here. And the adhesive that works with water, when it dries, it sticks to there. But I'm not taking any chances, because what I'm going to do is once I put it on there, I'll let it dry as quickly as I can, and then I'll spray it again with clear lacquer, so that gives it a little bit of a coat on it, you know. The biggest issue is two issues: getting it off that, knowing when it's ready to be taken off, and then sliding it on without ripping it, because it's pretty fragile. So it's knowing when to take, when it's ready to start peeling. You don't want to start peeling it too soon. What's that little black thing there? Why is that floating around? There's two little black things. I don't like the look of that. Just put it on that and try. Right, I see it's moved. The R has moved, so it's closer to the edge, so I'm going to take that off now. Put some water on that, because it gives me time to position it, and then make sure that it's all coming off and not just, this is probably the largest one of these I've done for a while. Usually it's just a name. It's not all coming off at once. Oh, there, the leopard's moving. Calista's favorite animal is a leopard. I think everything's starting to move now. You see how delicate it is. If you peel it too fast, you're going to end up ripping it and start again, which means spraying it. Right, okay, so there we go. The leopard's now moving. So, as I say, this is a fairly large decal that I'm putting on. Am I losing something here? I might be losing something, but I don't know. Oh, it's stretching a bit because it's so big. Is this going to be a mess? More water. Yeah, I ripped it. Right. So I ripped it there. I stretched it too far. That's what it would have looked like if I hadn't screwed up. Right, okay. I can't salvage that by just using Calista because it's stretched as well. Right, okay. Well, if there's a right way to do it. See it, I don't think it had dried enough. You see the print is still on there, so I don't think it had dried enough. Okay, back to square one, do it again. Get together and do it again. Do it. Next time I think I'll use some warmer water. All right. Right, this is the new one. It's just been sprayed and I used a can of more expensive gloss on it. So we're going to let that sit in this room, which is warmer, and give it a few hours and then try it again. 2 hours later, slightly warm, only slightly warm, brand new, printed. You see the difference this warm water does? Curls it. Well, it's not even warm, it's actually just slightly warm. And there's a drop of soap in that. Now this is round 2. It better work this time. So that's a better quality spray I've used on it. Higher quality gloss spray, which might help. It's been drying in this room. It has a nice gloss on it. And I don't know how long I need to wait now, because the longer I wait for it, the more chance it shouldn't soak through. So I'll pause now and come back in. There's no point in having water on top. And that was something I was doing out of nervous habit. Water won't go through the thing, so it doesn't matter about having water on top. So I'll pause now, come back in 1 minute. Now you'll see in that 1 minute I sliced them in half because I suspected that might come off easier, because when I was stretching from one side to the other, it maybe it was too much of a pressure on it, so I'm going to try to put it on in 2 bits, and it's already loose. So this is looking better, but don't get overconfident, Austin. I quite like that little curvature in it. So that should be okay. Now, it's like everything else, you should know when to stop, Austin. They say to cut to the letters as close as possible. That's the way they recommend it. In this instance, because it was such a big area, I wanted to have extra strength, so I didn't cut close to the letters. But there is an argument about not cutting close to the letters at all. You could, in theory, have a sheet that size and shape it onto it, and then you wouldn't see the edges of the transfer at all because they would be out there. I haven't tried that yet. Well, someday I might try it. I think it'll be fairly awkward to do. Now, the nice thing about this is that as it dries, it shrinks slightly so that it takes out the wrinkles and crinkles. But I think that looks pretty nice, doesn't it? What do you think? What do you think? The only thing that I do see is that the string tree sits right on the leopard's head, so I might actually move the string tree to there when it's dry, but I'm going to let that sit now again for another couple of hours before I do anything more to it. Just let it sit, so then I won't make any mistakes. Alright? Okay, that's dryish now. Not quite dry enough, but I wanted to show you the there, you can see it there. You can see the outline of the transfer there. So what I'm going to try to do now is spray that gloss to hide that a bit more. Don't think it's going to hide it completely. You can, I'm told you can, I'm not going to do it with this one, or let me just see if I can get it back to let you see. I'm told you can, if you're careful, sandpaper the edges of that gently with very fine sandpaper to smooth away the edge, and when you do spray it, it'll hide it even better. Right. Not awful, but not bad. Not bad. Still see the edge of it, but it's better. When it dries, it'll be better. I had to bring it in here, even though it's not even near dry. Okay, I'm going to put this back together very delicately because it has to go to the little girl tomorrow for Santa Claus. So I'm going to speed this up because what I'm going to do is put the pegs on, put the strings on, and I'll come back to you, but I'll just let it run when I'm doing this, okay? Okay, let's get this in tune. Let's turn on the amplifier. Boom, boom. Looks a little light. Right, now I'm back again. There was somebody just texted as I started to tune this thing, so let's just tune it. Oh, standard bass guitar tuning is not what I'm looking for. Standard guitar is. Thank you. Just play any on it. I'm not going to do a demo on it. Wow. Okay, that's going to do it. Just give it a little bit of a polish now, and it's going to go to Calista. And there's no point in doing a demo on it. There's no point in intonating it. I don't know of any point in doing that. It's all working and it's going off. And I shall ring them now and tell them to come and get it. Bye bye, bye bye, Calista's guitar. Maybe we should play a tune on it and send it to us.